Okay, y'all, no doubt the Dodge Caravan 01, the coolant lines that run the heater core in the back, they run across the firewall. They run across the firewall, back down behind the motor and back underneath the car. Problem is, the original equipment was made out of steel. It was a bad weld and intruded onto coolant lines, and it starts rusting out underneath. Here's the coolant line outside the car. The reason I'm videotaping this is because it took over an hour to get this line out and about 15 minutes to disconnect it. Line, like I said, goes there, across the firewall, goes down, back past the catalytic converter, and it has two rubber hoses on there. Evidently Chrysler realized they had a problem with it, so the new part comes with your hoses already on it. It is all aluminum all the way down. And I'm going to intermix still pictures and very little video on this, because the trick is getting that hose out and in the car. And then after that, it's just hooking it up. One of the first things I noticed on my model, I've got some kind of check valve there. Like I said, all these hoses come stock on it. I'm just going to go ahead and put that check valve back in, and I'm going to show you how to slide it back in, and myself at the same time. Okay, as I mentioned earlier, this is the stock coolant line, the aluminum one here. All your hoses come with it. Matter of fact, ironically, the local dealer wanted $171 for this ensemble for the rear heater hose. I got it out of a dealer in Orlando. I'll give you the information later. $130 delivered to my front door. So I'm going to go ahead and leave this current hose on here, and then I'm going to splice this check valve in there. Looks like there's just a little bit extra space for it. Okay, I don't know where I got this at. I think it's just, like I say, one of the regular tool supply parts. This thing is wonderful, and actually, before you start this project, if you don't have one, it's probably going to be well worth the money to get it. Knowing me, I probably didn't pay more than $10 for it. What really works out good in tight quarters is these clamps that the stock clamps that get off. All you have to do is just literally hook it in there, get it started, and then you can actually thumb screw it off, or it's got a 1/4-inch drive. So if you've got a 1/4-inch jack on it, I used to look like gloves on. Okay. One tool I found in my drawer, which I forgot I even had, brand new, haven't used it, is it's kind of like a hose clamp vise, for lack of a better term. It works real well on these stock clamps we need to get off, especially back up against the firewall behind the motor when you can only get one hand in. As you can see, they just slide right in there, and it is what it is. It's a vise. You just kind of keep twisting it until your thing's loose. The end of it has a 1/4-inch drive, so you can use a 1/4-inch socket or a 1/4-inch nut driver, and you get the same thing. And it just loosens it right up. Once again, with your back up against firewall, no room, and just slides right off. Well worth it. I think Vanguard makes that. Okay, a quick note. What I found is once you take this off, and if you lay it out, you can see the initial mark was right. Initial marker's right there. Initial marker's right there. Once I stretched the hose out to be exactly where it actually was, the mark wound up moving down to here. That's a significant difference between here and here. And since this is a preformed hose, I'm going to go ahead and cut it long, and then there should be enough there that I can go ahead and put the little check valve back in there. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, this lovely piece of plumbing now is going to go into the vehicle. Hence the whole reason I made this video. It took longer to get this plumbing out than did disconnect it. What I wound up having to do was basically clear up the empty battery box, drop down the vacuum set, drop down the power cruise control, pull off the puke box, and I'll show you all that in a few minutes. The trick was getting this out without having to take the electronics out. I wound up taping the ends because we're taping the ends so we don't get dirt in there. I wound up going around this way. Yeah, I know it looks easy now, but that was after hours. It's really pushing hard. I know you can't see. It's really pushing hard on the power brake reservoir. And then I don't know if it's going to twist around there or not. Give me a few minutes and I'll turn it back on. This allows me the joys of showing the lines have to run down here between right alongside the refrigeration lines to the rear unit. And as you can see, I snagged up on some kind of aluminum thing up there as well. The biggest problem has been is this spot right here. Right here, everything keeps wanting to go. When I was trying to get the old ones out, they got hung up on this side and you needed them on that side. So I'll keep fishing them around here. And as you notice, with the battery box out, the coolant lines are, I got to go back underneath the pull around aluminum line, but you actually wind up using all this space. And Fred here is borderline whether I have to take Fred out or not. There's the power steering module, and all the lines with it just got dropped down. Okay, this is where I am now. What I wound up doing was working this side a little bit, twisting around, going around the back of the manifold, stopping, then crawling underneath the car, and then moving around the pipe, and right here underneath the K-frame member, if that's what this is on this one. I used to have a Dodge or Valiant, so K-frame, and now hopefully it should just twist right in and come right back here to where I want it. And then after about 3 more minutes of twisting, fighting, a little bit of cussing, nothing had to be forced. It literally, look at that bracket. It literally, everything lined up where you'd hoped it to. On top side and down side. Now I've got to replace that bracket. That bracket, as soon as I start taking this apart, as soon as I touched it, the old one fell off. Like I said, it was all rusted out. And Chrysler evidently realized it because everything's aluminum. Okay, another little pointer. When you take off your cruise control module, works with throttle cables, notice that it has one bolt right there. One bolt that slides on there. That's not what all holds it on. You can take that and it lifts off after you take the battery box out and you have this bolt to battery box. You do have one vacuum line right there that connects on the back of the battery box. Show you that in a moment.